So, good evening, everyone,
Good evening.
and welcome to the third session in the series that is about distinguishing the choices that you make. Are they coming from the place of love or a place of fear in your life? Yeah. Now, if we look at the flow of the sessions so far, in the first session, we talked about the blind love, how we get blinded at times by our love, and how we damage ourselves, another person, and the whole relationship at times. And to know more about how we reach there, last session was about finding the flow of love that you have received from your parents, because that is where you set the tone for your life. And now, taking this journey more towards yourself, if you are living your entire life on the ground of fear, or maybe in some places you have found your ground to switch to love, this session is going to be a great revelation, and it might, for some of you, it might even shake your ground. Yeah, but if we allow that shaking, then something new can happen. And that is a very courageous step or courageous part in a healing journey. That's why healing is so brave heart job. So when we are talking about whether it is love or fear, now we are literally talking about love in every aspect of life. We are not talking about romantic love or love that we experience only in relationships or with different set of people in our lives. But how to know if you are living from love or you are living from a place of fear, and how to identify and what to do about it. Today's session is all about that. So if you see, many times uh, we make certain choices in certain aspects of our life where we know that this is not the ultimate goal that we have or ultimate dream that we have. This is a compromised dream or compromised goal. Why? Because ultimately what I want cannot happen. And uh, we are telling ourselves that we are happy to the best possible degree, because that's what is possible at the most. So in our language, let's call it compromised happiness. Yeah, or compromised sense of fulfillment. And then let's say we started the journey with 100% happiness, and then something happened, and now that part is not possible, so the degree of happiness has shrunk down, and we are calling that as our 100% happiness. Yeah, Priya, do you want to add anything over here? Unmute yourself.
I think you are in a flow. Finish that and
Fine,
then maybe.
fine. So now, when we are actually living our life from a place of uh, limited possibilities, or so-called uh, hurtful place, something that I wanted in the past but did not happen. And when a child experiences this thing, the most mm, most possible response for the child is anxiety and fear, because a lot of the world around a child is beyond its comprehension. And now, because I have experienced a certain kind of hurt and I do not want to experience it again, I will change my goal. So, what I'm doing here, I'm only avoiding the pain of that hurt. I'm only avoiding the hurt. And I'm creating my life out of fear, but I may not know that because here my choices are actually protecting me from that fearful scenario. Yeah. And in that sense, when life is working in whichever way to whatever degree, we think that yes, this is the best possible and this is a very, very good thing that is happening for me. And at times, the fear is definitely required. We are not saying we should always become completely fearless. Fear is a function uh, of partially of conscious mind where it will help us to survive a painful situation or a dangerous situation. For example, if I do not have fear of uh, death, or if I do not have fear of the awareness that if I fall from a particular height, I might get injured or dead, then I'll just go and jump. So the fear is necessary. We are not saying that we all should become completely fearless. But when it comes to creation in our life, and if we are making those choices from the place of fear, then that is definitely not what we want or definitely not who we are. Yeah. So how to identify? How to identify which aspect of your life is getting operated out of fear? Which aspect of your life are you ready to transform such that you can start living from the place of love? Yeah. Here, do you want to add anything over here?
I would want to take up that next aspect that you said. How would we know whether we are making a choice out of love or out of fear? Is uh, something that Gayatri and I have been discussing. And this is what is an analysis that we have made. Maybe this is not the complete ambit, but this is what we would like to share. So, one of the ways or one of the aspects that we need to keep in mind is like last webinar, we spoke of how love in our life is seen because of how the parental relationships is. And we ended the webinar on the note that our life is, so we get our life from our parents, and from there we live our life our way, right? Now, when a child is born, the child is born in an atmosphere where there are a lot of belief systems, there is a conditioning, there are certain values, there are certain experiences which the parents and the people in the family come with, and the child unknowingly starts absorbing these. So some of the belief systems that we carry as a conditioning from our parents or from the family that we belong to might be made out of fear. For example, if a family has gone through a major financial loss, maybe the belief systems that they have about money could be from a place of fear. Or if there is a family where the parents have explored and careers the way that they want, then maybe the child is allowed to explore what he or she loves to do in his life as a career. Are you getting it? So certain belief systems can be based on fear and certain belief systems can be based on love. So the first way in which all of you can sit with yourself and maybe analyze is what are the belief systems that I am carrying either from my parents or from my family or from my past, which are kind of based out of fear and they are limiting me in my experience of life.
I want to add one more thing here.
Yeah. I'll finish the one on love also and then, is that okay?
Yeah.
And what are the belief systems where I feel encouraged to live my life the way I want in my expression? This could be the first distinguishing way in which a person can start to analyze.
Priya ma'am, please repeat the second
So
exercise.
what are, so the belief systems which are kind of limiting me or are based out of fear, which I'm carrying from wherever. The point is not where I'm carrying it, but it is there in my system and I operate out of it. And it is fear-based. And what are the belief systems that are working for me where I operate out of love for my life? I feel encouraged, I feel inspired, I feel good, I feel, easy to follow it. Yeah, there is a flow. So once you start distinguishing this for yourself, then you will understand what belief systems are made from fear and what belief systems are carried out of love for life. Yeah, Gayatri.
Yeah. And one of the things that I have observed is, for the child, the need to belong is so strong that at times nobody has to tell the child consciously what to do, what not to do. Very unconsciously, child is ready to sacrifice themselves and their dreams and their goals, because that is not how the family functions. So if you look at this, what Priya just now said, which are the belief systems which are being told to you, you will be able to recognize them, identify them very easily because they're consciously available. But if you are born into a certain kind of family which is just there, you're breathing that air, you can't see that air. So that will require a next level awareness to check which are the things that you have not even thought of doing or exploring just because that's not how your family functions. And that really mattered to you. Like, I remember one of a person that I know once clearly told me that I do not want to do the self work because this is not how our family lives. If we do this self work and then I become a certain kind of person that will be so different than what I come from, that I do not want to let that go. So that blind love and the need to belong is so strong that she is ready to sacrifice the better possible world over the painful situations right now. So many times we are, sabotaging ourselves just to belong and just to feel loved. So, and we live entire life from there, and we talk about possibilities, and we go out and we think about, like, people still have the goals, right? They still think about bettering their life, but they don't know that this is the ground on which they are living. So we want you to start identifying these things for yourself. Yeah, Priya?
So on those grounds, I would like to share an experience. Actually, a client of mine, as when Gayatri was sharing, it came to my mind that she said that I have this tendency of thinking about what people will think about me more than what I have to think for myself. But I feel driven to lead my life. I know I am talented. I know I want to live life a particular way, but this comes in the way of me wanting to live my life. As Gayatri said, she had the need and she had the knowing that she wants to live life like this, but come what may, that was not happening. So when she got into a regression session, it went to a stage when she was in the womb, where the mother has a belief that even when she is carrying, she is just doing for the family. She is not only not thinking of herself, but she's not even thinking of the baby. So the inherent tendency of giving up yourself, your life for keeping people around you happy was a belief, a way of behavior, way of being, which had come from her mother. And as Gayatri rightly said, it was so much in the air for her. Like, that's the way she has lived life, that it took whatever number of years of life for her to distinguish that this is not me. This is not how I want to live. So the intention of this is to claim your life and live it your way, out of love of what you want to do, naturally. Yeah. It might seem impossible and impractical when I say it, but believe me, it is possible. It might take time, it might take work, but it is possible. Yeah.
And also,
Yeah, Gayatri, you want to say something?
yeah, like when you
You wanted to say
identify, yeah, like when you identify where you are living your life from fear and you are just coping with a painful possibility, you don't have to let go of that coping immediately. You don't have to overcome your fear
Yeah.
immediately. Because as of now, that decision that you're making out of fear is protecting you from that same pain that you have already experienced, right? So you do not have to let go of your defenses before you feel ready. So when we say that start identifying, it doesn't mean that, okay, today I have seen all of this, so tomorrow I have to let go. No, maybe you will take another 2 years, 5 years, 15 years. We do not know. It is your life. You are the best judge. But at least then you live in awareness, right? At least you know that I'm making my choices out of fear, but now you are aware of that context of fear. That will help you. There may come a day when you may find that the cost that you are paying for making such choices is higher than the protection that you're getting. That day you will find courage to step out of it. So take your time. This is just about understanding and about finding how you can start living your life from the place of love. But the speed is your own choice. There is nothing right and wrong as long as you are in charge of your choices. And you are okay or happy to whatever degree you can be. Yeah. And yet, when you identify so many things, it may shake you up. Because when we become aware of the narrative on which we are, not just one aspect maybe, but entire life is based on that, when we see that, it definitely shakes us up. Yeah, Priya, please continue.
we are not here to shake grounds for sure, but we are here for awareness. And yeah, so, and we are here to, we've walked the journey to whatever extent, so we know that this is possible. We are talking from that possibility. The second way, or the second awareness that I would like to share is, suppose I take that love has a particular, decisions made or choices made out of love have a particular energy to it, and decisions and choices made out of fear have a particular energy to it. So most times, if you see, the decisions made out of fear have a have to quotient to it. I must do it. I have to do it. I have to have a stable career. I have to earn so much money for my family. I have to look a particular way, or I have to, whatever, I have to have so much in my account to feel happy. Any aspect of your life. most times the belief systems around fear comes from have to or must. Now, what happens when you sit with this thought that I have to do this? The thoughts go around, what if I don't do it? What if I fail? What if I do not get a career of my choice? What if I don't earn so much money in a month? What if I don't look a particular way? And most times, 9 out of 10 times, it ends up in a dense emotion or not a very good emotion, I can say. Either more fear or sadness or helplessness or anger. So this is the spiral of emotions around fear, which again goes into more have tos. Vis-a-vis, if I take decisions and belief systems around love, I want to draw, or I like to travel, or I like my career to be like this. I would want to meet people like this. I would want to work with people like this. Or I would want to try such kind of dresses or look a particular way. Now, these thought processes go around a feeling and get driven towards a more, for loss of words, I can say a positive emotion, which brings in more enthusiasm, which brings in more creativity, which brings in more motivation, which brings in more happiness, fulfillment, self-worth, a sense of achievement, if you can do it. So the drive is more over here when compared to this, out of fear. So just today, Gayatri and I were sitting and talking, and we came up with this idea that most times decisions or choices made out of fear are about the result. It is result oriented. It has to be like this. Else something else. Else something will happen. Else some breakdown will take place, or some painful situation will. And the decisions made out of love are more process driven. How do I feel through that process? Do I feel motivated to do that the next day? Do I feel more creative? Are there more ideas flowing? Because I want to do it, right? So it is not result oriented. Result is just a consequence which happens at some point in time. But the process becomes very, very beautiful. So just to put this even in terms of the self-worth that Gayatri was saying, that it is not a have to. Today, if you identify that, yes, I have had these fears or I will live like this, it is not that you have to do it tomorrow. The day you say, I want to do this for myself, then the journey becomes one step at a time and becomes more and more beautiful towards that creation. So that can take 2, 5, 10, 15 years. The start is not defined. The end is not defined. And the start can be anywhere. The end can be in any manner. But the process becomes very beautiful. So the idea of sharing these two things are, even in a day-to-day activity. For example, even if the action is the same, that I exercise 1 hour in a day. Do I do it because I have to do it? And if I don't maintain my body, it becomes a place of illnesses, or there will be breakdowns. Or do I want to exercise for 1 hour in a day because I like to wear a certain kind of clothes, or I want to look a particular way, or I just feel healthy and happy and I have more stamina to do the things that I want to do more. The action might be the same, but the context of that action changes now. So there is more drive, there is more motivation, there is more enthusiasm to do it. So just becoming aware on a day-to-day basis. Why do I do what I do? Going back to some of the webinars that we have spoken before, where we have talked of, where do you make your choices from? Why do you do what you do? Why do you wish what you wish for? Yeah. So that will define it better, that I'm doing this because I want to enjoy this process and I want to feel a particular way while doing it or at the end of it. So is it wrong to have targets and say no? You can still have targets, but out of love. Not out of fear, not out of the fear of pain or a breakdown or some, as Gayatri said, to avoid a certain kind of pain. Yeah, Gayatri, is there anything that you would like to add here?
I think we are on the same page. So maybe you can sit and take any one aspect where you feel that if you were given a guarantee that what you want will happen as it is, what would you want? And today you are not wanting that. Then it is an indication that in that aspect you are operating from some kind of fear or some kind of uh, limited possibility. And then you can jot down what are the fears related to that aspect. There could be certain belief systems about yourself, about the world, about the system, how it works, about your family, about people, and then how that is coming in your way and how you're trying to match your best of the performance in a very small degree. And once you sit with one aspect, you can start applying the same for every aspect of your life. So I think that's what we want you to do after this session, and that's when the awareness will come, and that's when you will be able to answer for yourself that which belief system uh, are you ready to let go of today. And then you start your journey with that step. It might be opposite also. It does not have to be difficult always. Maybe some of you will find that the heaviest thing on your list you will want to release the first, because you are so done with that pattern that you feel the moment I saw it, I just want to be free of it. And if you are there, then congratulations, because the heaviest is our problem, lightest is the solution. So you're going to gain most of your resources from that heaviest issue in your life. So feel free to go whichever way that your free choice and your willingness, your courage takes you. Priya, do you want to add anything?
I was just thinking, that in introspection, when you sit and you see for yourself the places in life where you have created something very easily, I'm sure it must have come from a place of love. I'm very sure about it. So, and then there might have been times that you have thought, how did it happen so easily? That's because the energy of creation and love is so beautiful. It's so easy. Yeah, the support flows in, the resources flow in, the enthusiasm comes together. The team, if there's a team, the team comes together because there's a want, there's a love for it. There's a lightness to it.
In fact, if you get in touch with such a moment in your life, then connect to that and see what resources you had, internal resources.
Yeah.
What feelings you had, and what kind of belief system you had. And once you identify that, you can start replicating the same in rest of the aspects. To whatever degree it works, or it does not work. That's a journey to observe. But it's not that we always have had only painful experiences. We have had some good experiences. From there, we can start drawing the positive energy or any resource, internal resource, which will help us today. So if you have forgotten that aspect, maybe you can get in touch with that and create that again and again, such that your entire life becomes a creation out of love. Yeah, I think that's all we have, Priya.
Yeah.
So I'll open the topic for the discussion then.